This watch dropped my jaw, and you have never seen this before. Do they have a patent on this?
Patent?
Right. It's a game changer and possibly the future for watches. Okay, so let's switch to the overhead and see what I'm talking about right now. Introducing the all-new Thorn Pelagos Homage. So a little backstory, I've been thinking about trading my Black Bay 54 for a Pelagos. So before I drop a ton of money, I thought it would be wise to try out a Homage. And honestly, this one shocked me. For just 180 USD, it's got a grade 2 titanium case and bracelet, sapphire crystal with clear AR, and a ceramic bezel insert. That is some serious value. I will drop a link down in the description to the official Thorn store on AliExpress because that's where I bought this one. And the big 11/11 sale is in a couple days, so there's a possibility to save even more and pick up a brand new daily timepiece. Alright, I've gone on long enough. So what's so jaw-dropping about this watch? Well, just take a look at the titanium bracelet. The oyster links have no holes, none on this side and none on the other side. When I first saw it, I thought, did they send me a defective bracelet? But when you pull on the side of the link, the magic happens. This was hands down the fastest and easiest bracelet sizing I have ever done. And there was no risk of damage, no slipping screwdrivers, and no painful pin and collar hassle. The links still looked pristine after sizing, and it's honestly ingenious. I can't believe big brands like Rolex or Seiko haven't jumped on this kind of technology yet, especially Seiko. They have some of the most outdated bracelet technology in the world. But something I find a little surprising is they went all out on this innovative toolless link adjustment system. But if you want to micro adjust it on the clasp, you still need a tool. And if you want to take off the bracelet, you still need a tool. So no quick release and no on the fly. Why create such a unique tool-free link system and skip the other more basic tool-free systems? The bracelet is 20 millimeters. The Pelagos original is 21. So this one's better, and it tapers down to 16. It is completely solid, full titanium, and it's got a fully milled titanium clasp. I find this watch extremely comfortable. It's got that dramatic taper, which helps, but the lightweight titanium is key. Sized up for my 6.7-inch wrist, it comes in at only 92 grams. Wow, that's amazing. Once you get used to that lightweight, I can't even feel the watch on my wrist feeling. When you go back to your steel divers, you're going to feel like you have an anchor holding you down. Okay, let's switch to the case. It is made from solid grade 2 titanium and it's mostly brushed. However, there is a subtle, high polished bevel that stands out. It's got a rounded off finish. Unlike the typical sharp bevels that we are used to, this one's got a smooth, curved bevel, and it's a significant differentiator from the genuine Pelagos. And when we move up to the bezel, we are greeted by a sloping ceramic insert. I gotta say, I love the sapphire crystal when it extends just a little bit, 1 millimeter above the insert. It's a great look. So the elephant in the room, it's a titanium bezel, which many of you know, titanium bezels are notorious for feeling terrible. But let's see it for ourselves to be sure. The good news is that the coin edge grip works well. The bad news? The bezel feels disappointing. It's abrupt and jittery. It's also got a grinding sensation and it's not pleasant. However, after turning the bezel for about 200 turns, it started to break in and it begins to feel decent. Just make sure to give it a rinse afterwards because I noticed after I did that, there were some metal shavings right underneath the bezel in the crevice. Now let's talk about the dimensions. I got 38.4 millimeters on the case, 39 millimeters on the bezel, and a secret measurement of 28.5. We got a thickness of only 12.1, that's pretty good, and no drilled lugs and a lug to lug of 44.2. All right, we have an interesting one here, a really short lug to lug and a really small secret measurement. These two important features make this watch wear smaller than its size indicates. I might go as far as saying it wears like a 37, but for sure at least a 38. Now, one big issue that Hodinkee mentioned about the Tudor Pelagos is the loom on the hands. It doesn't match the dial. And I've checked out the Tudor forums, there's customers complaining about this as well. Thankfully, we don't seem to have that problem here. The BGW9 loom appears even across the watch. But take note that the thicker hour markers take a lot longer to charge than the hands. So if you do a quick UV blast to try to test it, it's going to look off. But just leave it in the sun and you'll get that even loom. And speaking of the hands, we have a beautiful white paint Tudor snowflake style hands. The dial has a deep navy blue matte finish. The original has more of a sunray finish. We got squared off and rectangular hour markers that look to be loom cast 3D loom. So it makes sense that they take so long to charge. And a really nice touch is that red 200 meters. It looks great. But I'm not feeling the hilarious exploration road under the word automatic. Someone has to remind Thorn that this is a dive watch and you don't explore roads with a dive watch. You explore the ocean. The crown is grippy, coming in at 6.3 millimeters, but it's not signed. Just a coin edge grip with a high polished finish. So you may be wondering what is powering this watch. Well, it's the PT5000, which is basically the highest quality Chinese clone of the ETA 2824. China has been cloning this movement for decades, and the PT5000 is the peak final result of all those years. It's a great movement and cheap to replace. About $60 you can get a brand new movement. That's cheaper than a service. It can also be regulated fairly easily, and this one could use a slight regulation, but overall, it's keeping pretty good time. So what are your thoughts on this one? I'm curious and I will be reading the comments section. And don't forget, you know what? I will link a couple stores because Ali prices can fluctuate frequently. So I'll put 3 of the top stores and just buy from whoever has it for the lowest. It's a great daily and it's so affordable, and you can buy it if you need a beater. It's $4,500 less than the Tudor 39mm Pelagos. Alright guys, before you jump to Ali or another YouTube video, please remember to hit that subscribe button and I'll see you in the next one.